Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey.
Hello.
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. The Lord of Pennies is taking the night off, so it may be a Scribe and Money show, although I have invited a couple of possible sit-ins. We'll see who shows up as time passes. But other than that, hello, everyone. Hope you're all having a good day, a good Tuesday, and a good week so far. It is the Inauguration Eve.
It's indeed.
As I'm told over and over and over again by CNN today.
They're excited. They are really excited.
They are pumped. They are pumped. They're gonna finally get their ears scratched and just scritched under the chin again by the White House. Oh boy, they're so happy. But Monkey, how are you doing?
Not too bad. Pretty decent day. Not enough sleep, so a little groggy, but pretty good otherwise. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you, tall person. Happy Brew a Potion Day. Have you ever brewed a potion?
I've made tea.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm trying to think of any time I would have brewed something that could be considered a potion, but yeah, that's about it. I'm fine. Work was, well, the day off went by so quickly, it didn't really feel like a day off, if anything, and especially since there's nowhere to go and nothing to do and still in my apartment, it kind of just flew by. But work was fine, and the rest of the afternoon was busy with other things, and then here I am. So rock me like a hurricane. Other than that, excuse me, feeling a little parched this evening, so I got a big jug of water in front of me. So if you hear me sipping it from time to time, that's why. But other than that, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games, hit that like button if you haven't already. And I see that many of you haven't. And please share our stuff, share it far, wide, sideways, and otherwise, since we are not backed by a corporation or some major television network or one of YouTube's favored friends, we don't get promoted nearly as much as some channels do. And that goes for many content creators, small, large, and medium. So if there's a content creator out there that you appreciate, be sure to tell people that you like them, share their stuff, retweet their stuff. I don't know, send up fireworks or semaphore, something. Anyway, thank you. This is Kyle. Hello, chat people in Latin. Hello, Kyle. All right. Well, I'm going to keep one eye on the control room here in case one of our fellow lords shows up to pop in and join us. But if I'm delayed in that, I apologize because I only have so many windows I can open up here with a single screen because I'm still living in the past. Oh, well, speak of the devil. And the devil is P-Dog Night.
I'm having technical difficulties here.
Uh-oh. We'll just watch P-Dog while he can't hear us.
There we go.
It's okay. We're just ogling you while you couldn't hear us. Welcome, the Lord of, was it prosecution? Was it?
Jurisprudence.
Jurisprudence, that's what it was. Lord of Jurisprudence. P-Dog Night. P-Dog, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thank you so much for sitting in tonight for Satsu.
Happy to do it.
And we may or may not have one or more other people popping in that I may have invited in the lead up to the show. But, oh well, we'll see as it goes. Just about to get into the news, but what have you been up to as you take a sip of water?
Well, I just got back from Breckenridge, Colorado.
How was your trip?
It was very nice. Now, here's the thing. Lady Boomer doesn't ski. I have a knee injury, so I don't ski. But we went out there with my son and potentially future daughter-in-law and her sister and her fiance. And we just roamed around Breckenridge trying to find cool things to do while they skied. And basically toured breweries, wineries, and what was the other one? Oh, a distillery. So basically it was the alcohol tour of Breckenridge, Colorado.
Nice.
It was awesome. It was really
Yay. Sounds fun.
I'm glad you had a safe trip, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Snowbirth. Oh, Lords, I have a question. Would the claim that Trump incited the Capitol building is a objective lie sound correct or wrong to you? I assume you mean the Capitol building riot or whatever. The claim that Trump incited the Capitol building is an objective lie. so I've listened to about 2 or 3 different YouTube lawyers, real or otherwise, talk about whether or not the language that Trump used during his speech prior to the riot amounted to incitement under law. And the general consensus I've heard so far is, based on legal precedent, it would be a very difficult thing in a court of law, given what he said, how he said it, etc., and the ambiguities therein, to prove incitement. So an objective lie, again, it all depends on how a court would rule on the situation. There's plenty of precedent to suggest that nothing that Trump did counts as legal incitement. But that's like, an up in the air kind of thing, because it is relatively ambiguous. You would have to prove some kind of intent. You would have to prove that there was the immediacy of action being promoted or something. And there's plenty of things, given the circumstances and what he said, that shy away from the legal definition of incitement. So technically speaking, no. What would a court of law do? Couldn't tell you. Does that matter for the sake of an impeachment? No. And that's my read on it.
I would have no problem saying it's an objective lie. Just based on, because so many people are, well, get your other super chat.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Oki Native. When did Satsu become a black man?
Conception.
Yeah. Or prior to conception, depending on how you believe in things.
I mean, yeah, 2 halves of a whole, right?
Yeah.
No, there's so many people are using the word incitement. I don't know if they don't realize that it's an actual legal term that has a meaning, that you can't just spout it out there like, that's incitement. Like, it is a real legal term.
Yeah.
And by my understanding of the definition, no.
Uh-oh, what was that?
Oh, I don't know. Here,
I'm hearing like Discord noises or something.
Yeah, I gotta do that too. I forgot I put everything through my microphone, so let me log out of that too.
Okay.
And I would concur, just based on what I've been hearing from, again, internet lawyers. Incitement's not only a specific term, but a very difficult one to improve. It has to be very specific. It has to be. He had to have given them a specific action that they acted upon, and so he did not do that. In fact, the part where he said "go peacefully" or whatever, "go peacefully protest," "go cheer on the ones who are doing the right thing," would be just the opposite of inciting an insurrection. It would also be a difficult thing to call that an insurrection, considering the fact that the breach began before his speech ended, and the people who were at the Capitol first, it would have been 45 minutes before his speech ended, and it would have been a long time for anyone else. If that was incitement, then tens of thousands of people who were there didn't get the message. Because it was a very small percentage of the tens of thousands that were there. And the fact that a vast majority of all those people in Congress and the House and the Senate are lawyers, they should all know better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, I don't believe he incited anybody, but just looking at it from a legal perspective, more likely than not, he could not be convicted of incitement. Do I think he incited anybody? No. I listened to the whole speech, and it was no more inciting than a zillion other political speeches I've heard by any number of figures that didn't end up causing any kind of riot or insurrection. I mean, they love using these big fancy words to make it sound like it was, the War of 1812 or something going on that day.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, the symbolism of the Capitol and some nutbag standing on the dais and everything and all that is an image that's never going to really leave the collective consciousness. But saying big words don't turn things into necessarily big deals, relatively speaking. That's not to downplay the deaths that occurred. That's not to downplay the idea that a place like that could be overrun and disrespected in that way. For everything else, I understand that, our politicians disrespect that building and its virtues every day. But, I'm still a little bit sentimental, I suppose. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Norm! Oops, wrong NBC Thursday night show. Yes. Yes. I was trying to think again of an ensemble piece that I could insert faces and such. And I thought about our closing line every night and where that originated from. And I thought, I haven't done a Friends theme, even though, truth be told, I have never watched a single episode of that show. Ever. Not when it was. No, Friends.
Oh.
Cheers, I watched all the time with my parents. I love Cheers. Well, at least until what's her name took over from Blondie.
Kirstie Alley.
But yeah, Kirstie. I wasn't that jazzed with Kirstie Alley. She's okay, but Shelley Long was far more interesting, a foil to Sam. Anyway, let's get to the news, shall we?
Let's shall.
All right. Well, very dramatic thing, but this was buried on CNN's front page, like below the fold, which is bizarre to me, but there you go. U.S. accuses China of genocide of Uyghurs and minority groups in Xinjiang. The U.S. has officially determined that China is committing genocide and crimes against humanity against Uyghur Muslims and ethnic and religious minority groups who live in the northwestern region of Xinjiang. Quote, this genocide is ongoing, and we are witnessing the systemic attempt to destroy Uyghurs by the Chinese party state, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said in a statement Tuesday on the last full day of the Trump administration. Quote, since at least March 2017, local authorities dramatically escalated their decades-long campaign of repression against Uyghur Muslims and members of other ethnic and religious minority groups, including ethnic Kazakhs and ethnic Kyrgyz. I'm probably screwing that up too, Pompeo said. The U.S. State Department has previously estimated that up to 2 million Uyghurs, as well as members of other Muslim minority groups, have been detained in a sprawling network of internment camps in the region. Former re-education camp detainees have told CNN they experienced political indoctrination and abuse inside the camps, such as food and sleep deprivation and forced injections. CNN reporting, has also found that some Uyghur women were forced to use birth control and undergo sterilization as part of a deliberate attempt to push down birth rates among minorities in Xinjiang. China denies allegations of such human rights abuses in Xinjiang. It has insisted that its re-education camps are necessary for preventing religious extremism and terrorism in the area, which is home to about 11 million Uyghurs, a predominantly Muslim ethnic minority that speak a language closely related to Turkish and have their own distinct culture. Op-eds and reports in Chinese state-controlled media have also specifically argued against applying the term genocide to the situation. You don't say. The state's not happy with the word genocide. Wow, I can't imagine.
I don't think I've ever heard anything good come out of a re-education camp.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're just re-education camps. Like, oh, okay, my bad. You're just trying to brainwash people. My bad.
Yeah, we're just trying to deter, extremism and terrorism. That's all. Because if you're of a particular religious minority, obviously you're going to turn into a terrorist or an extremist. So we have to push that away.
And in fairness, they have had some issues with terrorism over there, but you can't take that. They're actually doing what some people in the United States were accused of doing. Oh, we have some terrorism. We have to go after all the Muslims.
Well, they're actually doing what some want to do now to Trump supporters.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I only have one thing to say to that.
China is asshole.
That is asshole.
Well, I see now the only thing that I'm curious about is now that that's been made an official declaration by the United States, even if it is on the last day of the Trump administration, what is Biden going to do, if anything, about it going forward? Because I know it's all just rhetoric, but what's that phrase that always comes up after someone talks about the Holocaust? Never again. So if we're declaring China as committing genocide and currently committing genocide, if you think back to what happened or what didn't happen with Rwanda, what's Biden going to do? Is he going to continue just pretending like nothing happened, sweep it under the rug?
The most we'll do is maybe some sanctions.
Great.
We're not going to, we're not going to war for these poor people.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what else can we do other than sanctions?
Well, like I say, I'm just curious to see if there will be any kind of response from the Biden administration or follow-up.
There was whoever the guy is, I believe it's coming in for state. He called out the thing today too, called it genocide over there in Rwanda. Whoops, in Xinjiang.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're on the same page.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't read that, so I'm glad at least there's some consistency, because what's going on over there, I don't know. And what do you do about it, right? Ideally, what happens? I don't know.
There's not a whole lot you can do other than try to pressure them internationally and through sanctions. And China's a big motherfucker. I don't know how much sanctions are gonna hurt them.
That's what I'm thinking. Is just like
tell Disney they can't make movies for them anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on from that. This weird thing I keep hearing about: 12 Army National Guard members removed from inauguration duty. 12 Army National Guard members have been removed from inauguration duty in Washington, D.C. as part of the security vetting process initiated in part to ensure troops tasked with securing Wednesday's ceremony in the nation's capital do not have ties to extremist groups, the chief of the National Guard Bureau said Tuesday. 2 of the individuals were flagged due to, quote, inappropriate comments and texts, Army General Daniel Hawkinson told reporters after a defense official told CNN earlier Tuesday that they were removed over possible links to extremists. The other 10 Guard members were removed for questionable behavior found in the vetting process, Hawkinson said, emphasizing that this does not necessarily mean they have ties to extremists, but simply that they were, quote, identified, unquote, and removed from service, quote, out of an overabundance of caution, unquote.
What?
Quote, I'm not concerned as a large part of our organization. If you look at 25,000, we've had 12 identified, and some of those they're just looking into. It may be unrelated to this, but we want to make sure out of an abundance of caution, as I stated earlier, that we do the right thing until that gets cleared up, unquote, he told reporters. Thank you, Bacall, the Driving Ape Man. All of this is Kafka. Yeah. Everything's a little bit Kafka lately, isn't it?
I kind of said that this morning. By the way, I do have a Streamlabs.
Oh, do tell.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Shiagrav, who said, did they interview anyone else for Satsu's role, or were you the diversity hire? Well, I've been here before, and so I don't necessarily have to do a reading to get on the show. So there you go. There's your answer.
There you go. You're not wrong either.
I will confess, I pinged several people given the shortness of the notice. So there was.
I feel good being part of the standby crew.
Well, yeah, you're
diversity.
Yeah, well, I mean, so as far as diversity goes, well, I mean, I guess there's you, there's Weibo, and then of course there's the downtrodden Scotsman. So somewhere in there, you all represent oppressed minorities, I guess, in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I'm not oppressed, so
I know. I just I'm trying to acclimate to the new administration. What can I tell you?
Trying to oppress you right now.
Yeah, that's right.
You try. It ain't happening.
Let's see. The news comes as there are now approximately 25,000 National Guard troops on the ground in Washington, D.C., according to spokesman Major Aaron Thacker. Thacker? Okay. Thank you, Okie Native. P-Dog is the Blackjack. The Blackjack?
Oh, Jack. I'm the...
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
Ren.
Now, see, there was a story, I think it was a week or two ago, where the Secret Service protection team that was around Trump was being either vetted or relieved of duty or something because they were suspicious that they were loyalists and going to try to do something to Biden.
What?
Yeah.
I don't have that story in front of me, but I saw that posted several places. The Secret Service were doing a similar re-vetting of people on the off chance they were somehow like trained or loyal assassins. I don't even know what exactly they expected to have happen, but Thank you,
so insulting to those people.
I know. Thank you, L Wolf, for the Dogcat Fox. How's it going? Oh, it's going fine. Thank you so much. Yeah, so this is just some weird, like, I don't know. Everybody's the Manchurian candidate now. We got to wait and see who's going to be the danger. This is how we're going to run things.
Apparently.
Now, related to that, and this is technically, I guess, fuckatry since it's from Twitter, but strange thing happened today. Rashida Tlaib made a post on Twitter, and I completely agree with it. She said, and I quote, "I'm leading the call for national security powers to not be expanded in light of the attack on our nation's capital that occurred 2 weeks ago, as such measures often lead to the erosion of American civil liberties." And then she's got an official letter to the Democratic leadership outlining her argument for why, we shouldn't do anything more than we already have, etc. And I completely agree with that sentiment.
Good for her. Good for her being consistent on something.
Yeah, so that's just a side note for that. But let's get to a couple of stories that aren't terribly political or right on the edge of disaster or something. Well, maybe not. Police, and as in the police are telling us, thief berated mom for leaving kid in car he stole.
I saw this one. This is hilarious.
Awesome.
Beaverton, Oregon. What a great name. A car thief who found a toddler in the back seat of a stolen vehicle drove back and chastised the mother for leaving the child unattended before taking off again, police in Oregon said. The woman went into a grocery store about 15 feet from the car Saturday, leaving her 4-year-old child inside with the engine running and the vehicle unlocked, said Beaverton Police spokesman Officer Matt Henderson. A store employee told authorities the woman was in the market for a few minutes before someone began driving away with the SUV. Once the thief realized the toddler was in the back seat, he drove back, berated the woman for leaving her child unattended, told the woman to take the child, and drove away in the stolen vehicle. Quote, he actually lectured the mother for leaving the child in the car and threatened to call the police on her, unquote, Henderson said.
And then?
Henderson said the woman did nothing wrong and was within sight and sound of the child. She did something wrong. He said the incident served as a, quote, good reminder to take extra precaution, unquote, with children. I thought she did nothing wrong. Quote, obviously, we're thankful he brought the little one back and had the decency to do that, Henderson said. The vehicle was found a few hours later in Portland, but police are still searching for the thief. The suspect was said to be in his 20s or 30s with dark brown or black braided hair and a multicolored face mask. Police said anyone with information on the theft should contact the department. Don't leave your keys in the car and the engine running with your kid in the back. Just don't.
So he bitched her. He comes back with the car, bitches her out, gets the kid out of the car, and takes the car anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I just find that hilarious.
Well,
it's the funniest story I've heard this week.
I got it. I hate to give a thief any kind of credit, but good on him for bringing that kid back.
Oh yeah.
You're still a shitbag. You stole a car, but there's a lot of people who just kept driving. So
yeah. But the mother didn't do anything wrong. You left your keys in the ignition, the engine running, your kid out there alone in the car. Just turn off the engine. You're not in that much of a hurry that you can't just warm the car back up again. If you're only going to be there in a couple minutes, just at least secure the kid, lock the doors, that stuff. But anyway, yeah, I mean, good ending, but yeah, that's kind of kooky.
That could have went real sideways.
Yeah, that could have been an unsolved mystery right there. So let's see. And the other story I've got, which I don't know the context of, New Jersey High Court overturns conviction over Shining reference.
Okay.
Thank you, Okie Native. It's harder to steal diapers for the kids, so we brought it back. Yeah.
That could be.
That almost sounds like the beginning of a plot for some kooky comedy movie.
Yeah. Wasn't that the almost the plot of Savannah Smiles?
Savannah Smiles. I was thinking Baby's Day Out, but that was they intentionally stole the kid. What's Savannah Smiles?
Well, kind of what happened here.
I mean, what is it?
It was an 80s movie about a little girl that got kidnapped.
Oh,
And she ends up actually befriending the kidnappers.
oh, okay.
Oh,
I don't know that one. Okay. Anyway, so back to The Shining. The new.
in the chat, they're saying that was Raising Arizona. Is that
No. No, well, there's Baby's Day Out, which had Joe Pontigliano and Joe Mantegna and a couple other guys in there where they actually stole the baby. And then there was Raising Arizona where they stole the baby. But I'm talking about like accidentally ending up with a kid and then having some kind of misadventure or something. So if there's a movie that's already done that, then okay. I don't know.
The plot would be that the thief and the woman met months later. She had an affair with him and ends up leaving her husband for the carjacker, and then realizes, oh my God, you stole my car.
That'd be a twist. Thank you, Bacala Driving 8-Man. What was the Kevin Costner one? The Kevin Costner one.
Where he kidnapped a kid?
Oh, that was the whole. No, not the whole wide world. A Perfect World.
Something like that, yeah.
I think it was called A Perfect World, or something like that. Yeah. God, I hadn't a Water World. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, there was a kid involved in that one. Yeah, but I don't think he didn't want to kidnap that kid. Okay. Anyway, back to the story. The New Jersey Supreme Court has overturned a man's bank robbery conviction because of a prosecutor's reference to a classic horror movie. Okay.
All right.
During closing arguments in the case against Damon Williams, the prosecutor showed jurors a photo from the movie The Shining depicting a character played by Jack Nicholson telling his terrified wife and son, "Here's Johnny," moments after breaking a door with an axe. The reference was meant to illustrate that actions can speak louder than words, and to support the prosecutor's contention that Williams should be convicted of a more serious offense, even though no threatening words were spoken to the bank teller in Camden County in 2014. The jury convicted Williams of second-degree robbery, which requires the use of force or threat of force, rather than the less serious crime of third-degree theft. Prosecutors argued that Williams' conduct before and after passing a note to the teller supported the more serious charge. Williams is currently serving a 14-year term. A unanimous Supreme Court disagreed Tuesday, writing that prosecutors, quote, must walk a fine line, unquote, when comparing a defendant with, quote, an individual whom the jury associates with violence or guilt. Quote, the use of a sensational and provocative image in service of such a comparison, even when purportedly metaphorical, heightens the risk of an improper prejudicial effect on the jury, unquote, Justice Lee Solomon wrote. Quote, such a risk was borne out here, unquote. The Camden County Prosecutor's Office, which tried the case, declined to comment on the ruling Tuesday. That's interesting.
That's weird.
That is a bit odd. Yeah. You're prejudicing the jury with a visual aid. Well, I mean, if you're falsely equating actions with a different action,
Well, falsely, sure, but
well, I suppose you could make the argument that they're sort of like submitting facts, not in evidence. Like at no point did the guy actually commit any physical violence or say anything of a physical or of a threatening nature. And you're implying that such a thing took place in the course of your closing when no such thing actually ever took place. So
that's fair.
I could see that sort of, yeah. It'd be almost like saying, without actually bringing it up in your closing, asserting something that did not bear itself out in the course of the trial to try to convict the person. So, well, that's all the stories that I had. By the way, P-Dog, just because I forgot to ask at the beginning, on the off chance there's anybody in the chat who has absolutely no idea who you are or what you do, who are you and what do you do?
Oh, well, my name is Marty. I go by P-Dog Night on the internet, and I have a channel called P-Dog Night, spelled the way that you see. In fact, here, I'll just click a plus sign or here, there. I put a 1 in the chat. That's how you spell it. You can click on that, right click on that, and open a window and subscribe to my channel. I do a morning show called The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. Just mostly news of the day and whatever's happening in the world. and it's fun. A lot of people show up every day and enjoy it. In fact, if you're in the chat and you've been to my show and enjoy it, put a 1 in the chat.
Ooh, there you go.
After mine, there you go. And then the rest of you can go, oh, okay, well, we'll check it out.
Yep. And I had the pleasure of being on his 500th episode not too long ago.
Oh, speaking of which, my 2-year anniversary is this week. I'm doing a 2-year anniversary show on Saturday.
Congratulations on that.
So we'll figure that one out.
It's been 2 years. Jeez.
2 years since I've done my first Morning Night Live.
Time just flies. Thank you, James Colley. Now we have some other black guy. LOL. Boy, you guys are really focused on race tonight. I don't know. Yeah. You might be ready for the Biden administration.
Well, we must see color.
Yes, we must see, we must assess, we must judge, and on and on and on. Anyway, speaking of assessing things, that's not a very good segue, but I'll take it. It's time for MSS News. If you guys have news stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but we'll probably get stuck on something that infuriates us and go long on it. I'm sure there's an innuendo in there somewhere. This one, yeah, monkey goes long. All night long, all night. This one comes from Chicago Mike. If I will pull up here, you can do it. Irish girl's lost soccer ball floats 124 miles to Welsh Beach.
Huh.
This is as exciting as it gets in Ireland right now, guys, just so you know. An Irish girl's soccer ball floated out to sea and was found 7 days later washed up on a beach 124 miles away in Wales. Aileen Denton, a volunteer at Cardigan Bay Marine Wildlife Center, said she found the ball while participating in a beach cleanup in Irish word I will not even attempt to try to pronounce, and noticed it was marked with the name, Irish name I could not even attempt to pronounce. The first name is spelled Aoife.
Yeah, I don't know.
Effie.
Yeah, close enough.
Denton posted photos of the ball to Facebook along with an appeal to help find the girl. Quote, her football's just washed up on the beach, West Wales. Wonder how long it's taken to get here from Ireland, Denton wrote. I should say it's not an Irish word, it's a Welsh word because it's in Wales. So anyway, the word is Llanrhystud. Lilristud. The post came to the attention of Effie's father, who revealed the 10-year-old girl had lost the ball at Woodstown Beach in country Waterford about 7 days earlier. Quote, it went in the water as the tide was going out, and all we could do was watch it drift away, the father wrote in a Facebook comment. Denton said the ball will be returned to the girl.
Well, that's cool.
There you go. Nice story.
It looks a little ratty from being in the water so long. I don't know if I'd want it back.
Yeah, it's like, who knows where it's been in that Welsh water?
And the first thing I thought of when you started reading this story, did some guy in a scruffy beard who was in a plane wreck find the soccer?
Befriended it.
Made a new friend. And
there's a face painted on it and just like smears of blood. Like, where's this been all this time?
Oh, someone phonetically spelled this. Ethnic Jeuleho.
What?
The name of the girl, or the word on the soccer ball. Ethnic Jeuleho.
Okay. Jim Healis says it's pronounced Aoife. That her name is pronounced Aoife. Okay, Aoife. I took a limited amount of teaching of Scottish Gaelic from Tailed. I couldn't possibly try to pronounce Irish Gaelic. So anyway, moving on to Frosted Glass.
I'm sorry. I'm following along on Twitter, just scrolling down, and I read the next headline that you're about to read.
Yeah. Here we go, guys. This isn't a Mad Lib. Dear Twitter gays, please stop thirsting after deplorable people. Gay men need to take a long look in the mirror when it comes to their attraction to the worst sorts of men.
You know, we kind of did a topic like this the other day on Monkey in the Morning, but I was talking about women who thirst after, well, serial killers.
Yeah, sure.
And, well, I kind of know what this article is about. I didn't read this one, but yeah, this one it's not as close as serial killers. I'll say that.
Thank you,
Frosted. You ask.
Thank you, Frosted Glass. Her brother who held the ball is still missing. Dear Twitter gays, it's me. We need to talk about your behavior on Wednesday. As most of you know, no sooner had Jake Angeli, also known as the QAnon shaman, appeared in coverage of the storming of the Capitol than gay Twitter, yes, it's a thing, started thirsting after him. Strange as it might seem to some of us who watched the nightmare unfolding, the day wasn't even over before gay Twitterites were saying things along the lines of, quote, I know that he's trying to take over the Capitol, but I don't care what he did. He could wreck me, unquote. Or, quote, I know I'm going to get in trouble, but I think that the guy with the buffalo headdress is hot, unquote. Now, to be sure, there were also those that took such people to account, criticizing them, rightly, for emphasizing the physical attractiveness of a person over the fact that he was one of those who were leading an armed insurrection of the Capitol. Was he the guy with the spear? Yeah, I guess so, technically he was armed. The beating heart of the American Republic. Is it, though?
And there's an interesting adjective used there. Rightly.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you something. Give me any woman that you think's super hot. Any name.
Any woman?
Just name it. Throw a name out there.
They put me on the spot, and I'm thinking of. Oh, what's her name?
Let's just go old school, and most people probably won't. Let's say Anna Nicole Smith in her prime.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah. Playboy days, Anna Nicole Smith.
Let's go Anna Nicole Smith in her prime.
Sure.
If Anna Nicole Smith was caught on Twitter in a Twitter video, beating a puppy. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now she's doing something awful, but you say, oh, she's pretty hot, right? So criticizing them rightly for emphasizing physical attraction as a person, you're going to notice that even if the person's a shithead.
Yeah.
So you know what? Whatever.
I mean, beating up a puppy, I probably have different thoughts about it. See, for me, there's a certain level of context that goes with whether or not I find something attractive. Like if they're beating up a puppy, I don't really give a shit what they look like. But in this case, I don't know. Yeah, if somebody's looking at that guy and going like, I honestly, I don't care one way or the other. If somebody finds somebody attractive for whatever reason, I don't necessarily have to agree with it. Just like Monkey said, women and serial killers is like, I don't understand that. But if you're attracted to them, I guess you're attracted to them. I find you weird and perhaps a little twisted inside, but doesn't mean anything to me. Thank you, Snubberth. I follow a communist redhead with giant breasts. I stand by my attraction. Oh, Coffin. What's her name? Yeah, Coffin.
Look, if Stacey Dash kicked a puppy in the face, I would still say she's hot. I think she's a horrible fucking person.
Yeah.
Right.
She'd still be hot.
It wouldn't be. Yeah. And were they emphasizing the physical attractiveness? They're just like, dude in the horns is a hot guy. Bend me over and call me daddy or something. I don't know how that makes sense.
Whoa. They just want him to put on the headdress and say, fucking moo.
I'm going to leave all that alone.
Okay. I'm also going to leave the article alone because we read the only part that really matters, I suppose, if it matters at all. Moving on. This one comes from Massive Dynamics. Florida man shot in the stomach after attempting to scare friend.
Oops.
Well, looks like you successfully did so.
It sounds like it worked.
Monroe County, Florida. A Sunday fishing trip to the Channel 5 bridge. This they give naming rights to bridges to TV stations now in Florida?
Unless there's a channel number 5.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Okay. The Channel 5 bridge went wrong for two friends from Miami. A 31-year-old man changed his clothes and hid in the woods while his friend went to their car at around 5:30 a.m. When he attempted to scare the friend by jumping out of the woods, the friend drew his 9mm handgun and shot him once in the stomach, according to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Trauma Star landed on the bridge and flew the victim to Jackson South Medical Center. Whether or not charges will be filed remains part of the ongoing investigation, deputies reported. I'm pretty sure the guy's not going to get charged with anything because he had every reason to believe he was about to be attacked, especially if the guy admitted that he jumped down and tried to scare his friend, so he didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, it's just a stupid accident.
Yeah, I just hope that the friend, as dumb as he was to do it, if he knew his friend was armed, presumably, I hope he's okay or at least heals up, because a shot to the stomach can do a whole lot of different things. Yikes. Let's see, who's next? Oh, speaking of Florida, here comes senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. Egypt arrests female chef after she served genitalia-shaped desserts at exclusive women's club.
Oops.
Okay. Egypt's top... Sorry?
Said no dick cookies.
Maybe that was it. Let's see. Egypt's top religious authority has been forced to intervene in a case that saw women at a party eating genitalia-shaped desserts and led to the arrest of a pastry chef. Dar al-Iftah, which issues religious fatwas or edicts, published a statement forbidding the circulation of images that showed a group of women eating the sweets. Quote, the publication of nude pictures, okay, sweets and various products with sexual connotations is forbidden and criminalized by law, unquote, the statement said. Quote, it is an attack on the value system and a blatant offense to all components of society, the statement added. Egyptians were left outraged after the images surfaced online, prompting authorities to swiftly intervene. The group of women were celebrating a private party at an Egyptian Al Jazeera sports club at the time the images were taken. Egypt's security services quickly moved to arrest the pastry chef, who said the design of the desserts were specifically requested by the clients. She was charged with manufacturing food that contained explicit sexual connotations and was fined 5,000 Egyptian pounds. Okay, Egypt sucks, guys. I don't know what to tell you.
And that's a law in the books?
Yeah, apparently so. It's like it's so specific. It obviously has to have come up in the past, and they made a law for that.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a Streamlabs here. Thank you, James Colley, who says, quote, if Anna Nicole Smith is beating a puppy, she was smothering it with chesticles, but she would get a pass because of tits.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And she was something else back in the olden days.
Oh, before all the plastic surgery, she was beautiful.
Yeah, before the plastic surgery, before the overeating and all the craziness that she put herself through and all that. Yeah, I remember the Playboy issue because my dad had it, of course. And
wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And well, it was
that hurts.
I mean, that's the truth, you know. It's
I think I was in college.
You look at Dad's Playboys and everything, and I mean, she was like Marilyn Monroe plus,
yeah,
in a lot of ways, and yeah. Anyway, just reminiscing about hot women. Oh,
yes.
This one comes from Sean Uli. Now, this does not sound happy.
Yeah.
Gun-wielding Louisiana man, 79, faces dozens of animal sex charges after cops find trove of, quote, animal porn, unquote.
Animal porn.
Thank you, Bicala, the driving ape man. It's because Egypt, like the UAE, is an Islamic government. Yes. Yeah. Theocracy's not fun for anybody. Okay. An elderly man in, I don't know how to pronounce that, Metairie, I don't know, Louisiana, who was shot after aiming his gun at a sheriff's deputy, well, there's your first mistake, faces dozens of charges of child porn and animal sex abuse.
Oh, fuck that guy.
According to the Times-Picayune, 79-year-old Louisiana man James Millett III, 79. You told us twice in the same sentence he's 79.
Yeah, they need editors.
Has been charged with 36 counts of sexually abusing an animal and 9 counts of child porn. He faces in total 7 counts of possession of pornography involving juveniles, 2 counts of possession of distribution of pornography involving a victim younger than 13.
Oh,
Aggravated assault of an officer, and 36 counts of sexual abuse of an animal. Millett remains hospitalized following the shooting. It was not immediately clear if he had retained an attorney for comment. According to the New York Daily News, the Louisiana man was shot while investigating officers were attempting to serve a warrant on the accused child porn and animal porn possessor. When officers arrived at the Metairie home of James Millett III last week, his wife reportedly came to the door while he awaited police in a bedroom. Responding officers said he was holding a gun and pointed it at a deputy who shot him in the shoulder. Lucky guy, I guess. Millett is currently recovering from the shoulder wound, and no bond has yet been set. Okay. They give us then like little snippets of the same report from 3 different like news sites. It's very bizarre. But anyway, so that's the long and the short of it. Yeah. Well, that's the thing that happened.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, Gorok is right. The headline underplayed this. It talked about animals when the worst part is the kid stuff. Yeah, I was kind of confused by that part. Like, I think you're burying the lead there a little bit. But
right.
Whatever. Jim Heelis sends us this one from the New York Times. You know, the source of CNN. Biden has a Peloton bike that raises issues at the White House.
Oh, now, okay, so when we get into fuckery, I'm going to give you a few more headlines that are the what the news is going to be like for the next 2 years while Biden's still in office.
Okay. The subheadline says, it doesn't exactly comport with his, quote, regular Joe from Scranton persona, but beyond the politics of it, the bike could present cybersecurity risks.
Hey, baby, I love you.
Okay, I don't know anything about Peloton bikes other than I've heard the name.
They're high-end workout bikes that have a view screen, and they can connect to your Wi-Fi, and you can use it to ride different types of rides.
Okay.
Work out with different.
Well, first and foremost, anybody who thought that Joe Biden was regular Joe from Scranton, I'm sorry. Yeah, you either don't pay attention at all to what's going on in the world, or you're willfully stupid. Joe Biden is a multimillionaire, lifelong politician. He's not quite as bad as Bernie Sanders in that he had at least worked a job in his life beforehand, but not much. If you bought into his hometown, I'm just a regular guy stuff, I'm sorry, you were willfully ignorant. As far as the cybersecurity risk, I'm pretty sure that with the power of the U.S. government, they can disable the Wi-Fi on that thing.
Yeah, well, and also here's one of the other lines from the story that is definitely news breaking.
Mm.
A person close to the president-elect said that Mr. Biden and his wife, Jill Biden, engage in regular morning negotiations over who gets to ride first. Hard-hitting stuff. Oh, man.
I'm sorry. Did you say Miss Biden? That's Dr. Dr. Biden.
That's interesting that they did that. That is, well, this is, yeah, it's that's the quote from the story. They didn't say Dr. Biden.
Let's see. President-elect Joseph R. Biden Jr. moves into the White House on Wednesday facing many weighty issues: a global pandemic, a crushing recession, racial injustice, right-wing extremism. But Mr. Biden's personal weight control. You didn't mention left-wing extremism? We didn't see any of that last year? None of it?
Are you kidding?
Really? burnt down cities and everything else. You're not going to mention that at all? Okay. But Mr. Biden's personal weight control and exercise regimen will face a different kind of burning question. Can he bring his Peloton bike with him? This is news. This is the kind of biting, insightful, investigative journalism we have on the eve of the inauguration.
From New York Times.
From the New York Times.
Let me tell you something. The Obama media is back, baby.
They are. They are.
They really are. That is not even worthy of a puff piece. Like, who gives a shit? Okay, moving on, because I don't care about Joe Biden's exercise bike. In fact, trying to imagine him using an exercise bike, the word osteoporosis comes to mind real quick for some reason. I don't know why that is.
I just love the idea they think anybody thinks Joe Biden's a regular guy.
Yeah, that's the part that struck me the most. Like, it doesn't quite jive with his regular guy Biden image. Like, you're right, it doesn't, because it couldn't, because he's not.
He's from Scranton and he rides the train. He's a regular.
Yeah,
yes,
right. Yeah, he's Amtrak Joe. Amtrak Joe. This one comes from Pinkalo, the driving ape man, who gives us some news from the Great White North, which is obviously a racial
Where I
slur.
live? Oh no, Canada. I'm close.
Yeah. I mean, isn't everybody really kind of close to Canada? You know, geographically.
Yeah.
Stone's throw away. Most people it's like a drive. You're usually about halfway there most of the time. If this story decides to come up, which it isn't, so I don't know. It might be a broken link, or maybe I can't access Canada for some reason. Well, Pinkal, I'll give it another second here. Thank you, Janathor, custodian of Nigel City, calling it now. Biden won't finish his term. His own party is going to remove him. Well, the prevailing theory is that he'll pull at least 2 years before some overarching concern will cause him to have to step down, so that Kamala has the chance to hold the White House for 10 years.
Most people think it's going to be a few months. And I used to be on that train too until I thought about the 2-year thing.
Yeah.
And the 2-year thing, guys, is so that Kamala can have 10 years in office, theoretically.
Right. Yeah, she could serve the remaining 2 years without violating the holding the office twice thing, and then run 2 more times. So if he does not last at least 2 years for some other reason, now I'm still of the opinion he's not going to make it 2 years. Something's going to happen. It'll just be obvious that he can't hold the office, probably for mental issues. And I'm really, and just like with the debate, and I understand that it didn't happen, but I keep waiting. It's sort of like, you ever watch those shows where something embarrassing is happening, even in a fictional sense, you kind of cringe inside. It's hard to watch somebody do something, and I'm just sort of waiting for that to happen during his inauguration speech, waiting for him to lose his cognizance of everything and just rattle on into babbling somewhere,
I get what you're saying. But as for, not being able to hide it, they were able to hide him for the whole campaign. So
yeah, that's going to be over as of tomorrow. So
I don't think so.
This day and age, the media might turn the clock back to how they treat him via Obama. They can't turn the clock back as far as the amount of coverage or the sources of or the pipelines where information can flow from. So if something goes wrong with him, I don't think it's going to be easy to keep it a secret. And even the most loyal journalist out there, if they could be the one to break that something crazy just happened to Joe Biden for clicks, they're going to do it.
I
think you're underestimating their loyalty.
I don't think so either. Look, we went through an entire year and a half of Joe Biden campaigning for president of the United States with not one major media person that's not considered to be on the right mentioning why he left the race the first two times.
Mm-hmm.
How does that not come up on any media? Because they're protecting him, and they're going to continue to protect him until it's time for him to step down because he suddenly got an illness or something.
I don't know. I keep thinking once you start having a vacuum of controversy in the absence of Trump, and you need to get clickbait. Because I'm looking at what's driving the media now more than it was maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. We will find out one way or the other.
Here's where I will agree with you. They need a Trump replacement, and they need one now.
Yeah,
because everyone's put their whole dime on Donald Trump for 4 years, and I laugh because there's a lot of people who became prominent because they support Trump. A lot of people became prominent because they were against Trump and spent all their time on him, who are probably all wondering what the hell they're going to do now.
Well, I mean, they'll try to make McConnell the bad guy. The problem is he doesn't have any power, or at least he's now in the minority party. And he's already shown that he's willing and able to defy Trump, despite how many people called him like his chief enabler or something. So I'm not quite sure who the next supervillain's going to be, but it's probably going to be either McConnell, maybe Hawley, because he's still a hot ticket now in name recognition.
Well, technically, even though there's 50-50 in the Senate and Kamala's a tie-breaking vote, Kamala, I got to say her name right. Kamala is a tie-breaking vote. They still, because it's 50-50, they still have to share that power in as far as the Senate Majority Leader. And I just read something about that today, where he and Schumer are negotiating how they're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
She's just a tie-breaking vote, and the leader of the Senate when she wants to be. Now she could. I can't remember who vice president did this. Who did. Because I think the Senate was at 50-50, and that vice president came and sat in the Senate like most of the time, or quite often, just to on any controversial things, so there would not be a tie if it was by party line. But there is some sort of like job sharing when it's 50-50.
Pete, I have to correct you. The vice president is not just a tiebreaker. She is the end-all, be-all savior of the universe and all girls in the world. And she is going to bring forth a new era of peace and unity and healing. You can't downplay the power, the real power that Kamala Harris possesses as the vice president.
Behold the judge.
Yeah. Moving on. So the story actually finally came up. Quebec Premier refuses to provide curfew exemption for homeless people despite calls following man's death.
What?
I'm calling a curfew and all of you have nowhere to go.
Where are they supposed to go?
Quebec Premier Francois Legault says no exemption from the province's mandatory overnight curfew will be given to people who really are homeless, despite calls to do so from advocates and Montreal Mayor Valérie Plante. In a news conference Tuesday, Legault said he's concerned an official exemption could encourage people to, quote, pretend, unquote, to be homeless.
That's fucking ridiculous.
He said police forces have already been told to use their judgment when it comes to fining homeless people, and said he fully trusts they are being fair. Quote, right now the police are doing a very good job, said Legault. Quote, they're using their judgment, and if we change the rule and say you cannot give tickets to somebody who says they are homeless, you may have some people that will pretend to be homeless.
Sure, you could.
Yeah, you could. And you could also like look at the fact that somebody's sleeping on the cold street in a box and say, I think you're probably if you had someplace better to go, you would be.
Well, they did have the woman who put a leash on her husband and pretended to be walking her pet, because you can walk your dog. They allow you to walk your dog. Mm-hmm. They fined both of them $1,500 a piece for being out.
Thank you again, Pancalo. Legault is a complete lunatic. Ask all you need. No, just from this story alone, I believe you. I believe you. Legault was responding to calls made by Plant earlier today. She said the curfew has added unnecessary stress to already struggling homeless shelters in the city. Quote, the curfew has a direct impact on the homeless ecosystem, both on those who are homeless and on those who work with them, said Plant. Quote, I want people to feel safe in Montreal. I don't want to exacerbate their vulnerability, unquote. Plant's pleas come just days after the death of Raphael Andre, a homeless Innu man whose body was discovered in a portable toilet in the plateau. Andre, 51, had spent Saturday evening at the Open Door, a Montreal drop-in center just steps away from where his body was later found, but couldn't stay as the shelter was forced to close at 9:30 p.m. following an outbreak of COVID-19 last month. It used to be open 24/7. Quote, like many Montrealers, I'm deeply shocked by what happened to Raphael Andre, Plant said. Plant claims the city offered to work with the shelter from the start and was willing to help build extra walls to better separate clients. It offered to help get the shelter larger cleaning crews, but according to John Tessier, an intervention worker at the Open Door, that simply isn't true. Tessier says the shelter added physical barriers to the shelter, hired extra security, and implemented new measures to make sure clients could keep 2 meters apart weeks ago. But he says public health officials have yet to respond to their calls and emails and to give the green light to reopen the shelter at night. Quote, we've invited them to come and see what we've done. We've sent them pictures, and we've had no response to any of that, said Tessier. Quote, the fact that somebody passed away within a stone's throw of our building is traumatic. It's disheartening, and if it was up to us, we would just stay open right now, unquote. That's absolutely nutballs.
If I'm understanding this correctly, they threw a homeless guy out into the cold because they were worried he might get COVID and die.
No, they had to throw him out in the cold because they were forced to close at 9:30 because of the curfew.
Right. If they hadn't closed, then the curfew because of COVID.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So they were worried he was going to get COVID, so they threw his ass out into the cold.
By city decree or whatever.
Right. I'm not blaming the shelter. I'm blaming the city and the people who made this stupid fucking rule.
Yeah, that's it.
You killed a man because he might get sick.
Yep.
That's what your wife should have done with you, P-Dog.
Throw you out in the cold. It's like
motherfucker's sick. Get out.
No, she just made me stay in one room in the corner of her house for about 12 days straight. Oh, I did have a bathroom though, and she brought me soup once in a while. So
I was about to say, did she bring you chicken soup?
That was nice of her.
I know she's a nurse, so she masked up because she couldn't afford to get sick. Although I think she had it back in March. She had the same symptoms before anyone knew really anything about it, and then so I don't know.
That's asinine. I mean, they killed that man.
They did. They absolutely did.
Forcing people out into the cold in the middle of January to avoid COVID. Like, what? Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, we're going to end on that for MSS News. Guys, thank you so much for all the stories, some more outrageous than others. We're going to move on to the wonderful world of YouTube time. I'll go first because I don't have much. I worked on and finished up the theme for tonight's show, again, Friends, just because, like I say, I'm starting to run out of recognizable, at least by imagery, TV shows or movies that have ensemble casts, which I can put ours and or our friends' faces over, but I'll still find options as things go on. It just occurred to me that I hadn't done this before, and it's one of Monkey's favorite TV shows, and I've done my favorite TV show before, The Shield. I suppose next I'll have to find out what Satsu's favorite weeaboo stuff is or something, and then put us on some anime. I don't know, Attack on Lords, or maybe Evangelion Neon Monkeyness or something. Okay, those jokes would have killed with the anime crowd. I know you guys don't get it.
I am sorry. I know. I'm an old man. That's out of my wheelhouse.
Actually, given the other night, I should probably do Pokemon.
I would get Pokemon because my kids had those.
Yeah, okay. I'll see if I can find a Pokemon font, because that's always the other part of the equation, is finding the correct font to make it look quote unquote legitimate. But anyway, aside from the theme, I was preparing to do a TEDx tomorrow, and I had everything ready. And then at the 11th hour, TEDx posted something brand new. And I was like, oh, never mind that other thing. I have to hear what this person has to say. And I'll give you a quick preview of the title of it. And I haven't watched it. I just know the title. What if 911 dispatched mental health responders?
They'd end up dead.
Well, that's kind of my assessment. But as with all of the restorative justice presentations or police reform / abolition presentations, whenever one comes up, I am compelled to listen to it on the off chance they say something that changes my mind or gives me a new perspective on whatever the argument is, even if it's terrible, because it's been, we haven't heard much about the abolished police in the last little bit, have we, ever since somebody got shot in the face that they didn't like. But I'm still curious to know what the arguments are, even though I can already think of the same 7 rejoinders I'm going to probably have anyway. But that'll be tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Keep an eye on my Twitter. If that changes, I will let you guys know, because, you know, work can sometimes interfere. Other than that, that is all the YouTube stuff I have at present. Oh, sorry. No, I did do one other thing. On my secondary channel, Non-Author Dark, I posted a sort of post-mortem of my playthrough of Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York, because the game ended so suddenly for me. I didn't really have time to sort of digest and analyze what had just happened. And so I give a little afterthoughts on the whole thing there. And just as a warning, my afterthoughts are primarily negative. But if you're curious about that at all, go check out Non-Author Dark. And you can see the whole playlist. And if you're curious about that, that's all I got there. Monkey, what have you been up to?
Let's see. We had the game stream over on 2 Cents Plus, and then I did a Monkey in the morning, and then I let the audience vote, and we played some 7 Days to Die, and then I was going to play some Stardew Valley on mine. That's when my internet decided to start messing up, so there's only like half an hour to that. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. And then I got to hang out with the little one today. Oh, yeah. I got to tell you a story, because the middle one was with us, well, with me. And Lady Monkey was working, and my son was working, and he gets home. And my youngest son is a rock star to his nieces. He is their favorite person.
Yay.
No matter how much they love somebody else, when their uncle shows up, he gets all of their attention. And so he comes up the stairs, and she's like, oh, and she calls him by name. I'm not going to do that, but she's like, my uncle. He's like, hey, sweetie. And Lady Monkey goes on break at the same time. And a Peppa Pig comes on, and she runs over, and she'd said hi to them. And then she goes over and she starts watching Peppa Pig. And Peppa Pig episodes are not very long. But while she's watching this, my son goes into his room to put down all of his stuff, and my wife had to use the restroom, and Peppa ends, and the little one looks at me, she goes, where's my uncle? Like all accusatory. I'm like, he's in his room.
I ate him.
Where's my grandma? I'm like, she went to the bathroom. And she goes, I'm going. And she starts walking into the hallway, and both of them happen to come out. I'm like, what the hell just happened here? Yeah, she was like, where's my uncle? I didn't do nothing to him. I swear to God. But yeah, I had a good day with her. So
good. I always like hearing about the little ones. I'm assuming you're not doing a gaming thing tonight, or are you?
I'm kind of tired, so we'll see what happens. Right after this, I will probably be doing a Monkey in the morning, and then try to get a gaming stream out. My internet resets at midnight, so hopefully I'll be able to do one. So we'll see what happens. But not me and Satsu. It'll just be on twitch.tv/ranting monkey, guys.
Oh, Confused Onlooker just sent me a link to the Pokemon font I will need. I guess I guess I'll be doing Pokemon now.
I want to be Charmander.
I will keep that in mind. I'll find out if Satsu has a favorite Pokemon. P-Dog, do you have a favorite Pokemon on the off chance I somehow fit your head on a Pokemon?
Wow. I only know 2 Pokemons, and that's Pikachu and Charizard or something like that. Those are the
Charizard.
only because for the longest time, before when Charizard was the one that everyone wanted but couldn't find, and that's when my kids were of that age. So I was always out looking for it. What, say it again? Charizard, whatever. Who cares? So yeah, I do remember that one from trying to find the proverbial Charizard card, and I'm sure you can find it pretty easy now.
All right. So, Monkey, what was your request?
Charmander, the first. That's Charizard is actually an evolution of Charmander.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I will see what I can do. I will try to find some kind of group shot of various Pokemon, or I'll try to arrange them. And
Pokemon.
If you had to, I have me beat the kid, the whatever.
Oh, you want to be
Ash?
Right.
Okay, Ash Ketchum. Okay, I'll figure it out.
I'll tricky with my weird picture, but
yeah, I've never seen a single episode of Pokemon, but I know some of the characters' names just by osmosis. So I will see what I can do between now and Friday. But that being said, P-Dog, what have you been up to?
Well, after my vacation, I had my first morning night live this morning after a few days off, and today we got into that article about what are they? What's the word? Oh, multiracial whiteness.
Yes.
New York Times. I think I spent an hour ranting on that, but basically, if you're not familiar with my show, I just talk about the news of the day and some political stuff, some cultural stuff, and I go on a lot of tangents and talk about things in my life, and then I just started doing some editing. I have a second channel that's mostly travel stuff that I haven't done anything on other than 3 videos, but I have a whole bunch of footage from several different trips that just small trips that me and my wife have taken. So I'm starting to edit some of those videos, and then I have a couple that I still have that I'm editing for my channel, which is P-Dog-Night, P.DAWG KNIGHT, like people are writing in the chat, or you can just click on my name and you'll find it there. There's a V for you. That's where I'm at, if you're wondering. But Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, the morning night live, and occasional videos here and there.
Well then, all right. Well, with that, then we'll move on to the wonderful world of Fucketry time. I don't know if I actually have all that. Oh, I have to show this because I was rolling through the TEDx channel today, as I often do, because I've got a problem, guys, and I'm doing my best to try to work through it, but what it is. And I came across a particular video. I don't know if it's one that I'll end up doing, but it had just been posted within the last 10 minutes at that point or something, maybe an hour. And there was not one comment, but one commenter on that. And let me show you what that person said. Let me read this for you. It says, I'm going to read it from the top down. Give me a heart, please, TEDx. Please, I watch your every video. First person to watch. I'm from India. And I said, I think I found the only other person on the planet as or more dedicated to TEDx than I am. Very kind of sad little recitation there.
That's some thirst right there.
Yeah, that's something else. But I just thought I'd share that. Other than that, I don't have a written copy of this story in front of me. It's a video. I don't know if I can play it without getting in trouble, but apparently, because it needed to be done, a Dutch designer has created gender-neutral card decks.
I saw that stupid shit.
And I said, someone's playing the gender card.
Hey,
it's pretty bad.
You got me on that one.
A couple of entertainment pieces here. First off, there was a preview. I think it might be a new preview for the series Clarice that CBS All Access, or CBS in general, is about to premiere in February. This is the technical series sequel to The Silence of the Lambs, telling the story of Clarice Starling after her capture of Buffalo Bill, etc. It's not going to have Hannibal Lecter in it, so far as I know, although references to will be in there. But I watched the preview, and throughout it, the main, it's at least from the preview, the main thrust of the plot seems to be, ever since she caught Buffalo Bill in the Silence of the Lambs movie, she's sort of taken a break because she wasn't technically a field agent at that point, and now she has this amazing reputation. It's sort of like in the movie The Rainmaker, if you ever saw that, where the lawyer's first case is a gigantic, huge win over a life insurance company or whatever. And how do you top that as your first case, that kind of thing?
Right.
So now she's got all this pressure on her to somehow be super detective, even though the only reason she found Buffalo Bill was because Lecter basically led her to him. And throughout the entire preview, there are flashes and imagery referring back to the story of Silence of the Lambs. And I said, Hannibal as a character is interesting all by himself. Clarice was only interesting in contrast and conflict with Hannibal. The premise that Clarice has to live up to her first adventure is just going to be this show requiring us to recall a better movie. Not wise. And this movie is coming from the same producer as Star Trek Discovery.
Oh.
So, yeah, you see, there's this weird thing about the producers of Star Trek Discovery, Hannibal, because the guy, Brian Fuller, the guy who did the Hannibal TV series, which is a brilliant TV series, he was originally the guy that was running Star Trek Discovery. And then somehow he lost that job due to creative differences or pressure or something. And then Kurtzman took over. And then I guess he wanted to, again, try to outdo or top Brian Fuller. So then he's going to do his own Silence of the Lambs / Hannibal series or something. There's some weird, competitive jealousy or something between Kurtzman against Fuller. And anyway, so there's that. The other thing, too, Warner Brothers' Willy Wonka prequel will be titled Wonka and release on March 17th, 2023.
Okay, why?
And it said, what did Oz the Great and Powerful and Solo teach us about prequels detailing the sordid origins of beloved enigmatic characters? That demystifying an enigma is counterproductive and unnecessary and not very popular or successful. Warner Brothers, I predict a flop. Who are you going to get that is going to come? First off, the movie is totally unnecessary. No reason to make it. But if this is supposed to be a prequel, and the images that they're showing along with this advertising is from the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, who are you going to get that's going to even come close to capturing Gene Wilder's performance? Who could you possibly? Can't be done. Cannot be done. There's nobody living today that could pull that off, nor would I want anybody to try. Not only for the sake of it's unnecessary, but also for their sake. You know, the guy who tried to do Harrison Ford young Han Solo. I felt sorry for that guy. How could you possibly fill those shoes, no matter what the circumstance? It just doesn't. No, don't do it. Don't do it. But they're doing it because why not? Thank you, Dark Resurrect. No one remembers Silence of the Starling, just saying. Yeah, like I said, Clarice is not that compelling a character all by herself. The only reason she was interesting is to watch the psychological swordplay between her and Lecter. That was it. And that's really if you watch any of the movies, it's never really about Will Graham. And it's never really about Clarice. It's always about the conflict of that character with Hannibal. Will Graham by himself, not very interesting, unless he's compelled by Hannibal to do something interesting. Clarice by herself, not interesting, until she's compelled by Hannibal to do something interesting. I don't know that these characters could stand up on their own in a series and be interesting at all. So that's my first thought about the Clarice series, plus the fact that it doesn't have the best pedigree under Kurtzman. So anyway, that's all the fucketry that I had. Monkey, what do you got?
Honestly, I don't think I have anything. Let me see. I really don't. Unfortunately, I wasn't on very much, so.
Well then, P-Dog, do you happen to have any fucketry?
Well, I had first of all, talking about the multiracial whiteness that was some fucketry, but I don't know was that from yesterday? I talked about it today. And then but the bigger one for me that I know is today was Hillary Clinton decided to tweet today. And I'm just gonna read this. Congress needs to establish an investigative body like the 9/11 Commission I messed it up. I wasn't supposed to tell you when this is from. To determine Trump's ties to Putin so we can repair the damage to our national security and prevent a puppet from ever occupying the presidency ever again. And when I first saw that, I thought maybe it was a retweet from 4 or 5 years ago. Nope, she tweeted that today.
What?
She tweeted that today about having a 9/11 type commission or to determine Trump's ties to Putin. I'm like, what was
the last 4 years?
What was that thing they did, 3.5 years of 30-40 million bucks? I could have sworn that it had something to do with Putin. Talk about, and I thought to myself also, talk about still undermining the results of an election. Is this insurrection by Hillary Clinton? I don't know. Oh man. But anyway, and then also the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, a couple days ago too, but just the thing that doxing should be illegal, but reporting extremists should not. Basically, it's an entire. They got even ripped by by Twitter, but talking about how they define doxing as posting someone's personal information, but if you're doing it for the right cause, it's okay to dox people. Basically, it was the gist of the whole article, and they got ripped to shreds. I mean, ratio was almost like almost 10-1 comments to likes. So that was the main effery I saw today.
All right. Well, let's see. Gosh, we got lots of time. Whatever shall we do?
Mad Lib?
Oh, amazing you should suggest such a thing, Monkey. Wow, that's a great idea. Yes, let's do a Mad Lib. Which one shall I pick today? Oh God, which one haven't we done yet at this point? I mean, I think over the years now, I don't know that there's one that jumps out at me that we haven't already done. Let's try this one. Okay, it's a relatively short one as far as the number of words needed. So chat, what I need from you for this Mad Lib. I need, and please put them into separate chat messages, tagged with what they are so I can just look them up real quick. I need a noun, a verb ending in ed, and an adjective. A noun, a verb ending in ed, and an adjective. And by ed, I mean the letters, not erectile dysfunction. P-Dog Night, I need a name.
A name.
A name.
Hillary Clinton.
You got it. Monkey, I need an adjective.
Soft.
Soft?
Soft.
Oh, soft.
Yeah, it took me a second. His voice faded out there a second. P-Dog, I need a verb.
Chug.
Okay. Monkey, I need a silly word.
I honestly don't have one for that. Goober.
Okay. P-Dog, I need a noun.
Avocado.
Oh, there you go. Monkey, I need a plural noun.
A plural noun? Let's see. Priests.
Okay. P-Dog, I need a verb ending in ed.
Clanked. Oh no. Never mind. Well, I said clanked, but that's not really. That's. I don't know if verb is a sound. No. Let's go with let's go with jacked.
Jacked. Okay. And lastly, Monkey, I need a noun.
Cafeteria tray.
Well, that's specific. Okay. All right. And now on to chat a noun. Scrolling up. Let's see. Going up to the top. Ebony Williams says ketchup packet.
That's what I saw.
Sounds about right to me. Next, a verb ending in ed. Ex Bubba Hotep says shunned. I like that one. Shunned. And lastly, an adjective. Who's got an adjective? No one nowhere says slimy.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. This one is called A Galaxy Apart, Star Wars Your Way. Darth Hillary Clinton looked at his master while his soft breathing filled the room. He was told to go to chug everything on the planet of Goober. He got in his avocado and jumped to hyperspace. Soon, before he reached the planet, he dropped out of hyperspace and was attacked by rebel priests. He jacked them off.
Wow.
Oh my, that.
Wow.
How did that
and I should say jacked is the only Mad Lib word in that statement. He jacked them off and continued to the planet's surface. He landed and confronted more opposition, slicing it down with his cafeteria tray. He used the ketchup packet to choke another rebel, then shunned him aside. He finished off all life on the planet with a slimy laugh. I think
Whole new meaning to force choke.
Yeah, I think he jacked off rebel priests is probably the most accidentally perfect.
We weren't even being dirty tonight.
Not really. No, that was wow. Good choice, P-Dog.
Yeah,
That
you know,
lined up way
that
too
couldn't
well.
that couldn't have I couldn't have done that on purpose.
Okay, well, we still have time. We could do another one real quick if we want to.
Why not? Let's go.
See if I can find a really a brief one that we can just do all ourselves here, so we don't take too much time away from chat. It's always the case that I'll pick something and it'll be like, oh, there's only like 4 words or something. And okay, we'll do this one relatively quickly. Okay, so Monkey, I need a noun.
A noun. Undercover cop.
Okay, P-Dog, I need a verb. It's going to be verbs all the way down for a second, guys, so get your verbs ready.
Okay. Battered.
Okay. Monkey, I need a verb.
Sodomize.
I need a verb. P-Dog.
Slide.
Monkey, need a plural noun.
Kittens.
P-Dog, I need a verb ending in ed.
Rammed.
Monkey, I need a verb.
Sterilize.
P-Dog, I need a conjunction.
Oh, was that and but nor?
And if, but, that kind of thing, yeah.
It's funny because I'm singing that song in my head.
Conjunction. What's your function?
Wait, what are my choices?
So the common ones are if and but.
Nor. Let's go. But.
Monkey, need a noun.
Corpse.
P-Dog, need a body of water.
A puddle of hobo piss.
Wow.
Don't know
Damn.
that I have no don't at me.
Sorry, Canada. Monkey, I need a place. Just any place, I guess.
Maternity ward.
And lastly, P-Dog, I need a number.
Mm, 69. A good thing.
All right. Here we go. This one is simply called Me and Nicole.
Anna Nicole?
No, not me and Nicole, just me and Nicole.
Oh.
Me and Nicole are best undercover cop. Is this like translated from another language? We batter and sodomize and slide with each kittens.
Wow.
We get rammed, but we still sterilize. Nothing will change, but all the same. Now it's time to say goodbye to Corpse and I. We have set sail on the puddle of hobo piss and went to the maternity ward. While there, we found the square root of 69. I don't know if that's like a song lyric or some kind of famous poem otherwise. I have no idea. That is very, very bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, but that produced some very odd statements. Anyway, I will clip that and post it later. But guys, thank you so much for helping us with the first one at least. But we're going to move on now to your time, chat time. If you have questions, comments, concerns, complaints, conspiracy theories, if you have some inspirational words of praise or encouragement for our incoming vice president, put them in the chat now. If you have questions for us directly, please put plenty of chat marks after those. If you have statements for us to consider, please put plenty of statement marks after those. If you have no talking about, too bad, so sad. Tack Alpaca, do you like Whoppers candy, aka malted milk balls? I don't. I always found them kind of chalky and dry. I never really liked those.
Oh, I love them. Absolutely love them.
Guilty pleasure.
Okay.
They're not great, but I eat them.
Check your logic. Why does no one on the right talk about Medicare for all? I mean, well, I think ideologically speaking, socialized anything or government-controlled anything is verboten. So, yeah. Probably why. Mr. No, Scribe Light, who will play Buffalo Bill, a.k.a. James Gunn, and will they do the Goodbye Horses scene? Well, this is a sequel to the movie, so there flashes back, and of course, Buffalo Bill is dead. So she'll have nightmares of her time and running around in his basement or something, or maybe they'll be lazy enough and make a copycat who got inspired by her story and start stalking her or something, because that's really creative stuff. I don't know. I only saw the little bits and pieces they put in the preview, and it looked like she was when you did see images that reminded you of Silence of the Lambs, it looked like she was having like nightmares or something. So, who will play him? I couldn't tell you. Frosted Glass, hey P-Dog, how do you feel about streams centered around cancerous articles after Lawton on Fridays?
Could that be referring to Minions of the Zoo?
No, to The Corner, his own show.
Oh, The Corner. Oh, you know what? I haven't seen it. I'm usually not up past. My schedule puts me to bed early. I'm early to bed, early to rise. So Lords of the Night's usually the upper end of when I'm awake. But occasionally on Fridays, I do occasionally listen to stuff at night. So I'll have to check that out.
I think he's trying to goad you on coming on the show.
Oh no, I got you. And like I said, I am more than happy to if I'm awake. If I'm awake, I'll go on anyone's show. And then you are certainly a prolific contributor here, so I would be happy to. We'll figure out a Friday.
Ex-Bubba Hotep, has Monkey watched The Shield yet? He tried watching the first episode, but never got further than that because he fell asleep or something.
I've seen the first episode. That's as far as I got. Yeah.
He doesn't care.
I have to confess, I haven't seen any of it.
Best show ever.
One of those shows that everyone says you have to watch it, and I just haven't.
It is the hunt for Red October of television. I tell you what.
Is it on what service? Is it on any of the services right now?
It used to be. It used to be on Netflix. It isn't anymore. I couldn't tell you if. I don't think Hulu's got. Maybe it's on Amazon Prime. Couldn't tell you.
I'll look it up.
I sent Monkey the entire series on DVD, so he's got the whole collection.
Oh, nice. And he has.
What?
Never mind.
Okay. Tack Alpaca, have you ever had coconut milk or almond milk ice cream? I believe I've had coconut ice cream before. Yes.
No, but using coconut milk. I've had almond milk ice cream, and it was actually pretty good. I was surprised.
Monkey?
No, I have not.
Okay. Red Dirt Runner, Lord's powers. Instantly know if what conspiracy theories are real. If what conspiracy theories are real or not, but never be able to prove to anyone what is real.
Oh. So I would know for a fact, but I couldn't tell anybody. I couldn't prove it no matter what.
Right. No matter how hard you tried, nobody would listen or something.
I mean,
what would be the point of knowing if you couldn't share it, right?
Just no.
Yeah.
That'd be too frustrating.
Reminds me sort of a Twilight Zone episode called Need to Know, in an abstract way. You can find it on YouTube if you guys are interested. It's part of the 90s run of Twilight Zone. Look it up if you're curious. Let's see. Motto Winter. Oh, Lords, would you all try a 17-ounce steak shaped like a wang, marinated in cow blood, a tit roll with cinnamon butter, and a long glass of whiskey with apple? A tit roll?
I don't know who started the would you like to try
Motto Winter did.
Genre, but I'm curious about the marinated in cow blood. I'm just I suppose it's I don't know.
It's a steak, isn't it? Just marinated in cow blood by nature.
Kind of.
Well, I mean, the blood's kind of cooked out at the point once you've had the steak prepared.
Yeah. Well, marinated though, you got to cook it after.
You cook it after you marinate.
Yeah, that's true. It sounds too weird to me, and I don't know what a tit roll, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. Is it just a roll shaped like a breast? Is that all that is? I don't know.
And why is it shaped like a wang? I don't know.
Because we want to get arrested in Egypt.
I mean, I don't know.
Lady Gopher, Ranting Monkey. It's the 19th. Did you load today?
I did, but I did not get as much downloaded as I hoped to.
No. Let's see. Check your logic. Have you talked about Matthew Cook's recent video? I don't know who he is, so no. It's worse than Sorry?
I said, who is he?
Yeah. It's worse than Don Winslow's recent video. I don't know who that is. It's worse than Chromosome Lady or any TEDx. Well, with that kind of preamble, why would I want to select to watch any of it?
Well, curiosity. Don Winslow is the guy that had the video about Trump's new army. Did you see
Trump's
that one?
new army. Yes, I saw that. That was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
No.
Even there's some lefty journalists who are even criticizing that as just stupid.
It is. It's nonsense.
It's funny. It came on the same day as the ADL talking about doxing people, probably cheering on Don Winslow. FTG.
Let's see. Mr. No, Ranting Monkey, do you have any snow on the ground outside and how many inches?
We do, and I could not tell you how many inches.
I'm looking at it.
Let's see. Select a boy. Okay. Who would be the worst person to run into during the pandemic?
Somebody with a disease.
Adolf Hitler. I don't know.
During a pandemic? Wait, the word. I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Who would be the worst person to run into during the pandemic?
Patient one?
Actually, he's probably the healthiest guy right now.
It could be.
Let's see. Septus Wolf. I am having problems paying my medical bills because I made a bad choice for health insurance this year. I have created a GoFundMe. Could you give me a shout out? Well, tweet me the link and I'll put it in the chat if you haven't already. Or if you did, I missed it. So do it again. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it sucks. Sorry about that, dude. Sorry you're going through that right now.
Just tag me in a tweet and I'll try to get in the chat before the show's out. Let's see. Pyrus Creed. Sorry if I missed it, but did you guys talk about them screening the National Guard for disloyalty? Yes. And WAPO's multiracial whiteness. We talked about that yesterday.
My whole show this morning, well, half of my show is about the multiracial whiteness because I was a little bit, I don't know. I was a little bit, what's the word? I don't know. I had that I resemble that thing.
For anybody who doesn't know, P-Dog, since you just did it, what is the multiracial whiteness theory?
Oh my gosh. Now I have to go back and look at it.
Okay.
Basically, they're talking about how when when they have the FBI pictures of the people that they're looking for from the so-called insurrection, that you're seeing a lot of brown and black faces. And so they went into this thing about how, well, because these people just want to be oppressors, just like white people. I mean, basically that was the gist of the article, that if they can be, Trump supporters, they can be, because they want to be the oppressors. They want to be in that oppressor club. And it was much more elaborate than that, but that was basically the gist of it. And it was just like, assholes, maybe, just maybe. And they're complaining. The big part of the article was complaining about how, Trump's Latino support and black support actually increased, and how that just seems so, counterintuitive because of the fact that Trump didn't want any of those people to have any rights. It's like, no, he was just against illegal immigration, and he never said anything about black people's rights. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I allowed to swear in here?
See, my theory was when the concept was mentioned last night is that because they're having so much trouble squaring the Asian American population on average making more and being more successful than white people, they have to broaden the definition of what constitutes a white person, because otherwise you can't have the narrative that somebody who's not white is inherently going to not achieve anything or be held down.
Yeah, no, it had none of that. Nothing about it.
Okay.
This was specifically focused on the fact that there are black and brown people who support Trump. They mentioned Alexander. They mentioned what's his name, the head of the Proud Boys. I mean, they mentioned, these people, and just saying is because they want to be just like white people, because and they brought up, a lot of oppression terminology.
Yeah. L. Wolf, Scribe, from what I understand, Clarice doesn't have the rights to use Hannibal. I don't know if that's the same for Buffalo Bill. Yeah, that's part of the weird rights situation with the books, is that the Hannibal show, the reason why everything's so goofy in the Hannibal show is because, well, Brian Fuller had access to all the characters from Red Dragon, the book, and any sort of supplementary information from that book. But instead of telling the exact story, he just made up new stories and new scenarios using those same characters. So it's partially a retelling of some of the other books and partially just new stuff. The rights for Silence of the Lambs, for some reason, you can use everything in there except Hannibal. So I don't know how they're going to square that. I mean, I guess they can sort of offhandedly mention without saying his name. I don't know what the limits are on what they could or could not say in that show, but based on the rights issues. So I don't imagine that I'll ever watch the show because I don't have any interest in it. But I will be curious to read up once it does come out, how they got around not mentioning Hannibal in relation to the Buffalo Bill murders and everything. So let's see. Data Wasteland, Scribe Light, Scribbles, have you or Monkey ever watched Support Your Local Sheriff with James Garner? If not, it's available free in YouTube's movies at the moment. I think I saw that a long time ago on TV with my dad or something, but it's been forever. Monkey, ever see it?
I've never seen it.
P-Dog, ever see Support Your Local Sheriff?
I have not. Not familiar with it. James Garner, I mean, he's been gone a long time.
Yeah, the most James Garner I ever saw was some episodes of the Rockford Files when I was growing up. There were reruns, and then the Maverick movie with Mel Gibson, which is actually a pretty good movie, all things considered. Other than that, I'm having a hard time remembering anything else that I saw him in.
Oh, he was great in Barbarians at the Gate.
Yeah, that's right. He played the cigarette guy. Yeah, I forget his name also. Yeah, Barbarians at the Gate was a great movie. Great little corporate espionage sort of movie. Kind of cool. Yeah, true story too. The whole
over leveraging of companies to buy him out. It was some.
Yeah.
Philip Morris, I believe, was a company that he worked for in that movie, but that was a huge thing that happened and caused a lot of problems when everybody's bills came due.
Yeah. Let's see. Frosted Glass says, P-Dog, would you mind following me on Twitter at FrostedGlass2 so we can hash out details in DM?
Already did it.
All right. Cannibalistic Wizard, butter basted and garlic injected rump roast, hash browns pan fried in garlic butter, honey baked corn, and a butt plug shaped glass of bubblegum flavored milk. Okay, you lost me in the last one.
Yeah, why bubblegum flavored? I don't care if what the shape of the glass is, but bubblegum flavored, because everything else there was like, oh, this is fire, and then all of a sudden, bubblegum flavored milk.
Yeah, and also, is that like the anti-vampire meal with all that garlic in there? Let's see. Color commentary. I just told a good friend who has Trump derangement syndrome and voted third party. Half this country is functioning in a complete false reality. It is up to each of us to decide which half. I don't. I guess it depends on what you're talking about. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't vote for Trump in 2016. I did this time only because I thought he was the better choice for at least the economy or whatever. And because Joe's not going to be around that long, and Joe has dementia. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm an America supporter. And so that was my choice this time.
Yeah. Jonathan Peterson. Calling back to a story from yesterday, kind of. I know a veteran who flatlined twice during his service. He realized when he got out of the military that he was officially dead. It took 9 years to undead himself because of the U.S. Air Force.
Damn.
I've heard of cases like that.
That's great.
Not cool.
Hey, Scribbles.
Yes.
I just want to update people because I said I was going to do a show. I'm getting really fucking tired. So when I'm done with this, I'm going to sleep, guys. No show until after I get some sleep.
Yay, sleep for monkey.
Yes.
I'm actually glad to hear that. I'd rather you get some good rest than
I'm
not.
trying everything I can not to pass out on this show.
We're almost there. 10 more minutes.
Yep, 10 minutes. I can do this.
Chicago Mike, what was your favorite shows that were on must-see TV, NBC Thursday night? Oh, what was the classic lineup?
They changed around a little bit, but for me, probably Friends.
Let's see. I never watched Friends. So.
Friends and Seinfeld, and then they'd have the little ones in between there. I forget which ones were. I mean, because what's that girl's name? Brooke Shields had a show in there for a while.
Oh
God. Okay, so we're talking about the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the must-see TV of 1990 through 91. The Cosby Show, A Different World, Cheers, and then they switched up between Wings and Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And then they switched up between Law and Order and LA Law. Well, Law and Order was always my favorite, but that didn't last on must-see TV for very long. LA Law, I think that might have been too late for me as a kid. So Wings, I guess Cheers would be the one that I watched most of all because I watched that with my folks. But yeah. And then later in the mid-90s, you had Friends, The Single Guy, Suddenly Susan.
Hey, that's Brooke Shields.
Yeah, Seinfeld, The Naked Truth. I remember that was, what's her name, who married David Duchovny? I forget her name. Tia Leone. Fired Up. And then ER. ER was the big runner forever on must-see TV throughout the 90s and into the mid-2000s. So...
yeah, I would go with Cheers. I mean, we watched the Cosby Show a lot, and Different World was kind of just something to watch while you're waiting to see Cheers,
right?
And I never like Seinfeld, Friends, and all that. I never watched those shows until they were like reruns on some other network, and then I started binge watching those. But I didn't watch them when they were popular.
I'm seeing names of shows that I completely forgot existed, like the single guy, Veronica's Closet.
Oh Lord,
Daddy-O. Remember Daddy-O?
No.
Joey.
Oh yeah, he had a season.
Inside Schwartz, Leap of Faith. They had a show for that. Battery Park, Stark Raving Mad, Good Morning Miami, and Coupling.
Okay.
I don't remember I remember the names. I don't remember anything about most of those shows.
A lot of half season.
They got their one season or their pilot out, and you know what the worst TV show I ever saw. They only aired, as far as I know, they only aired the pilot, and it was so bad. Like you watch these guys trying to do jokes, and the writers of the show were terrible. It was the Bonnie Hunt show. They gave Bonnie Hunt. That. Yeah, they gave her a show, and now I don't know if it lasted more than that first episode because I watched that first episode. There was no advertisements for it. There was no marketing for it, and the pilot episode was cringe bad. Like, did not land. You saw these actors sitting there waiting, saying their lines like they were trying to be funny, and they were just terrible. It was just nothing. And I saw it once. I never saw it again. Never heard about it again. It was a terrible pilot. I don't know how it got on the air, but anyway, guys, I forgot to mention I'm posting the link to Wolf's GoFundMe in the chat. Take a look at that if you have a chance. I will also retweet it out here momentarily as soon as I do that. Okay, let's see. And then chat jump. Sorry, guys, if I missed your question. Thank you, Ebony Williams. You get money because I'm eating my favorite fast food meal and I'm in a good mood. Well, thank you, Ebony. What's your favorite fast food meal? Mine, generally speaking, when I do have fast food, which is a real rarity these days, I like the double cheeseburger from Jack in the Box and curly fries and a chocolate shake. But that's like, I haven't had that in at least a year now. God, I didn't think about that. Yeah. Mr. No, Scribe, favorite episode from The Office. I never watched it. Not even the British one. I never did. Go ahead.
My favorite from The Office is probably episode 2 of the show. The one where Michael's in trouble and somebody has to come in to talk to everybody about racial issues. And it turns out he's there because of Michael, and Michael's like, fuck that guy, and decides to hold his own seminar on race. It is so fantastically bad.
Sorry I missed this. Thank you, Andrew Joyner, for the game controller. Good game. GG. Thank you. Yeah, chat jumped a bunch on me there. Sorry about that.
Oh, Dr. Kiev put a link to Matthew Cook's video. Now I know what they're talking about. The guy who does the black and white dramatic. This is a wake up call for Republicans. You can find, just scroll up the chat if you want to right click that and watch that video. It's bad.
Boodled says it was worse than Manimal. Manimal was great compared to the Bonnie Hunt show. I'm sorry. Yeah, Manimal was wonderful in relation to the Bonnie Hunt show. I'd watch cheap special effects of a guy turning into different animals than that thing again if I had to. I can still remember specific scene. It was so bad, it's like ingrained in my memory. There was this one segment where she'd do like these man on the streets, because she was a reporter at a news station or something, and they'd intersperse part of the show with her doing like interviews of random people at like a county fair, and the bits were so like they weren't not funny, like they were offensive or something. It was just like the absolute absence of humor, like nothing, and they thought they were being funny, and it was just like before the internet knew what cringe was. That's what that was. Ebony Williams says Huey Magoo's a chicken place. I've never heard of it. Do you guys know of a Huey Magoo's?
Nope.
Must be a local thing. Well, that's I like chicken. Sounds good. Thank you, Ebony. Let's see. Old Guy Gamer described the Bonnie Hunt show had 276 episodes. Really? Oh God. Well, I tell you what, I hope they improved after that pilot, because that pilot was absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. Data Wasteland. I liked her in Twister. Oh yeah, she was in Twister, wasn't she? Briefly. God, Jack Black was in Twister. No, wait, it wasn't. No, was that Philip Seymour Hoffman? That's who it was.
Often, yeah.
Yeah, because his character was very Jack Black in that movie, and that's why I sort of mixed those two up. But God, I YouTube threw a clip of the movie The Master at me the other day with Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I watched, and I was just like, what a loss! What a great actor that guy was. So good.
He really was.
Drugs.
I always thought he was fucking weird.
He's weird. Actor.
Yeah, he picked weird roles sometimes. I mean, I think that Mission Impossible movie is probably one of the bigger mainstream movies he did. But yeah, no, he was an excellent actor. Screwed up personal life, obviously, but hey. Let's see. I think News Radio says Alpha Omega guy. Oh yeah, I watched a lot of News Radio mainly because of Phil Hartman.
I did like that show.
Another loss. Oh God. Oh Phil. There's a really lousy story about how Andy Dick helped lead to his wife killing them both, which was. Yeah, John Lovitz blames Andy Dick for Phil Hartman's death because he blames Andy Dick for getting Hartman's wife back on drugs, which led her down the path to insanity again. Supposedly. That's the rumor I hear anyway. But, guys, with that, by the time I finish this, we'll be at the top of the hour and the end of the show. Oh, it's been quite a day. And tomorrow will be quite a day even more. Monkey has the honor on his channel at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night for Lords of the Night of bringing us into Inauguration Day. I'm sure we'll go over the events of the day, whatever they may be. And I do mean knock wood that nothing terrible happens. I mean that sincerely. I just hope it's a very boring event and a speech that in some way, shape, or form either informs, terrifies, or entertains, or a combination of the three. Thank you, Chicago Mike, for the good job, Dog Cat Fox. Thank you, Chicago Mike.
Can I point out something else?
Yes.
Not only is tomorrow Inauguration Day, it is our 4-year anniversary.
That's right. You're right. Yes, the January 20th, we did the test stream.
Test stream.
Way back when, 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Where I showed Monkey the rudimentary tricks I'd learned about setting up a live stream. And just on the instant of even setting it up with no advertising whatsoever, 75 people were suddenly watching us doing nothing. And that was the start of this entire endeavor. So tomorrow will be interesting. But with that, everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us. You guys really are the best audience in the entire known universe. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone is so well behaved. You have very little to do. Everyone who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. Do take a chance to check out Wolf's GoFundMe for medical bills and things. I retweeted it out on my account, put it in the chat a couple times. Also, I don't have it in the description, but I will add it. Check out P-Dog Night. He'll be doing the morning night live tomorrow at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, and whatever it is Central Time.
Nobody cares about Central Time.
It's true. Yeah, the flyover states. Who cares?
Don't you huff. How dare you?
This weekend I was in Mountain Time, and really nobody cares about Mountain Time. At least on
shit.
They tell you it is Eastern and Central. They don't tell you what it is. Mountain Time.
Mountain. Nobody cares about Mountain Time. And do not look for Monkey doing a Monkey in the morning after this, because Monkey is going to bed because it's already fading out. So I'll try to wrap this up quicker. P-Dog, thank you so much for joining us tonight and sitting in for Satsu.
It's been my pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, bud.
Somewhere out there, Weibo, thank you for considering showing up and then not showing up. But hey, I won't hold it against you. Well, yes, I will. Monkey, thank you for joining me as always.
Indeed.
Everyone, your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
Adios.
Thank you, Gamer Valine. Last minute, Arizona has its own time. We don't do daylight savings. Well, aren't you just special?
So you're
speaking
Mountain Time year round, other regular Mountain
They're
Time.
an AZ time. But speaking of special, I take out my copy of Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns, the romance and sexual sorcery of sadomasochism.
Sadomasochism.
Thank you, Monkey. And today's secret word is...
Ball sack.
No, but it's more innuendo. Rearward. R-E-A-R-W-A-R-D. Rearward.
Rearward.
Backwards.
As in the direction, yes. What the context of that word is in the book, you'll just have to get your own copy and find out.